the church. Beyond Sunday, beyond Sunday. Yes, we are, we love beyond Sunday.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl whose family just moved to the area. Her family was driving by a church and saw a sign for a Wednesday night dinner and decided to give it a try. They were welcomed by smiling faces and good food, so they decided to go back for Sunday service. Again, they loved it, so they decided to join a Sunday school class where the little girl made friends and loved listening to Bible stories. She eventually started feeling at home at that church, where she would love running up and down the aisles for the children's moment and waving at smiling people. Her heart was so full of joy every time she came to that church. That little girl continued to go to that church, but one day she grew up and she went off to college, and her world was so different. All of her life she felt like she belonged, and then one day she didn't belong. She was so lost, and everything in her life was changing. She was trying to make big decisions about her future, trying to make new friends. She was exhausted, overwhelmed, lonely, and sad, and she didn't know what to do. She lamented to God about this new life of hers. God, thank you for my blessings, but I'm hurting. Where do I go? What should I do? She sat in the silence with her tears, and she knew what she had to do. She had to go visit home to be reminded of where she belonged. Weary, hurting, lonely, she walked through the squeaky doors of that home church sanctuary, and she rested. She was embraced by hugs of people who loved her since she was a child and sent her care packages during those long semesters. Her empty cup was filling up fast, recharged enough to go back to campus remembering who she was and whose she was. She later joined a college campus ministry where she felt a little more like she belonged, and one day she was approached at her college ministry about becoming a camp counselor in the Great Smoky Mountains, a town called Townsend, Tennessee, for a camp called Camp Wesley Woods. Would she belong in the mountains? For one thing, I failed to mention, this college girl loved shopping, cell phone service, fast food, iced coffee, and air conditioning. Would she belong in those mountains? She laughed it off. There's no way she could be a camp counselor until this nagging feeling wouldn't leave her alone. Go. 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 Feeling unequipped and equally frightened, her dad rolled up her sleeping bag. Her mom handed her some bug spray and a Bible, both of her parents looking smug that their daughter would learn some good life skills, and off the city girl went to the mountains. For 2 weeks, she trained how to start a fire from nothing, how to rappel off of a waterfall, how to scare away a black bear at the blackberry bushes. Go away, bear! Go away! What to do if you get lost in the woods, swimming safety, archery, camp songs, crafts, leading devotions, how to talk to children and keep them safe, and last but not least, the meaning behind the Thursday night Vespers fire, where they would gather around a campfire and thank God for a wonderful week. The time finally came for campers to arrive. She had her moments of where she would doubt if she could be a great camp counselor, but each time she would whisper a little prayer for God to help her. Slowly but surely, she felt like she belonged. One week during camp, she was assigned to a rotation week called Camp in the Community, a camp that was completely free to the campers, funded by churches in the Holston Conference, a blessing for many families. This is where a few camp counselors would pack up games, crafts, and food and take it to a community church to put on a day camp for kids. The counselors would hop aboard a rickety church bus, and an 18-year-old with a brand new CDL license would haul fast down a gravel mountain road into the inner city of Knoxville, Tennessee. They would pull into a church where tons of kids were eagerly awaiting their arrival. They were ready for some fun, and boy, did they have it. But as the city college girls sat down for devotion time with the kids, they shared all about their life with her. Sharing their heartache, their grief, their worries, and that they too sometimes felt like they didn't belong. And by the end of that week at camp, they found their safe place. Camp was where they felt God. A tiny Vesper spark lit for the beginning of their faith journey. 10 years had passed since that college girl went to live in the mountains for a summer. She had long graduated and was working the teaching job of her dreams that being a camp counselor had prepared her for. She was also a mom of 2 rowdy, sweet boys that being a camp counselor also had prepared her for. She had learned to absolutely love nature and enjoy God's presence in it because of her camp job. She was still attending that home church that she had as a child, filling her cup and her children's cups on Sundays. She saw a Facebook post about how much camp in the community had grown, and they were looking for churches to host camp for children in their community. Flashing back in her memory to the good old camp days where everyone had belonged, her home church decided to sponsor camp that year and years after, bringing joy to 50 campers in their community, easing burdens off of families, providing 2 meals and a snack per day to hungry kids, opening their facilities and hearts, housing young adult camp counselors, providing a minister in residence to lead worship for the week, and creating a church home where they too belonged. The start of their faith journey. I tell you this story because if you don't know by now, that is my story, and that is our story as Wheeler UMC. I come to you with so much gratitude. We have Camp in the Community coming up for its 4th year this July 6th through 10th, and it takes a village to make it happen. If you would like to be a part of our Wheeler UMC camp story, whether it's being a volunteer, kitchen crew, counselor host, or giving financially, we would love to share that with you. We thank you so much for your prayers and support, and welcome to this place where we all belong. Thank you. Welcome everyone to Wheeler Beyond Sunday. We are excited to have you all for this special episode about our camp in the community. Today, I'm your host, Sarah Arnold, and we have a very special guest this evening. His name is Keenan Gerbach, and he is the Faith and Community Engagement Coordinator for Camp in the Community. And also, we have been friends for 10 years. So that's been exciting too, because Keenan, I got my start knowing Keenan as a camp counselor at Camp Wesley Woods. So it's really special getting to reconnect through Camp in the Community. Also, some exciting things about Keenan is that he's going to be a girl dad. So congratulations to you. You got your pink on. So yeah, if you are just listening and you're not seeing it through video, Keenan has his pink on for being a girl dad. So we are excited to have you. So welcome, Keenan.
Thank you.
So we're going to just jump right in. We want to know about your history with camp, because you have a very long history with camp. So we'd like to hear all about it.
Okay, yeah. So like you mentioned, my history with camp and with Halston Conference camping started in 2011. So I came over from Cape Town, South Africa, where I'm born and raised. I came over as a camp counselor, was hired on like the J1 visa programs. And I came 2011, 2012, started there as a camp counselor, and I mean, literally it changed my life. Like
Mhm.
there's no other words for it. I came over having kind of gone to church when I was a child, but really had no faith foundation, no relationship with Jesus. And then through my teenage years, kind of walked away from the church and never
Mhm.
went to church, had no kind of um, path with faith or with God. And then when I came over as a camp counselor, it was something totally new to me. East Tennessee is extremely different to where I'm from. So it was a big culture shock.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the thing that really stood out for me was the people,
Yeah.
just the love of the people. And I mean, at camp, whether it was from fellow counselors or any leadership or just campers, I felt so much love, and
Right.
it literally changed my life. A few months after working as a counselor, I gave my life to the Lord, and everything kind of shifted from there. So that's why I continued to come back every summer after that for a few years. And then in 2013,
Mhm.
God had laid it on my heart that what I was experiencing at camp and what I was seeing, the impact it has on lives, like he had told me straight, like kids in South Africa need that as well. So in 2013, I started my own summer camp in South Africa. It was called Camp Yogo. And we did that. We eventually grew and we did a winter camp and a summer camp. And we did that for about 7 years until COVID hit. Um, but we ran a camp every year just because of the impact that
Yeah.
camp had on my life. So,
And YOGO, that's an
mhm,
acronym, right? It's
yes,
what did it stand for?
you obey God only.
Yeah.
So,
Love it.
yeah, so it
Mhm.
was. And I mean, it was literally me just taking everything I had learned at Camp Wesley Woods, just
Mhm.
the what I felt, what I saw, what I experienced, and just taking it back to South Africa and sharing that with everyone. And it had a huge impact. So lives changed. Just yeah, it was crazy to think that God was using me to do that. Um, and like I said, COVID kind of put the end to that. And once I had started the camp and I got involved in full-time youth ministry back home, I kind of felt like God was saying, okay, that's where I need to be. So
Mhm.
I was back in South Africa for about 4 years. And then Wesley Woods reached out to me again and said they starting a new position and they would love to bring me back over. And I came back over for 18 months, worked there again, had an amazing time, continued just to do what I felt God was calling me to do, just continue to learn, grow,
Yeah.
invest in camp and just see the impact it had. And then I'd gone back home again and continued to just uh, do what I was called to do back home. I had started a non-profit back home. I was still in ministry at home, still running my camp. But then COVID hit, and we were in like a heavy lockdown, couldn't leave our homes. We were under heavy restrictions for a long time. So that kind of put a pause on a lot of things.
Right.
So I ended up being at home for about 3 years. And then I had actually come over for a friend's. I mean, one of the beautiful things about camp is that you build the lifelong friendships with people. And
Absolutely.
friends I had made in 2011 working at camp.
Mhm.
One of them was about to have a child,
Mhm.
and one of them was just about to get engaged. And I had
Oh,
not seen them for a few years, and the restrictions were lifted. So I had planned on coming back to be here for my friend's birth and my other friend getting engaged. And during that time, while I was here, I had kind of connected with like Whitney and I, who Whitney's the
yeah.
director of camp in the community. we had always remained friends all through the years because we worked at uh, Camp Wesley Woods together. And she had spoken to me and kind of said, like, they have this new position they're thinking about, and they
Mm-hmm.
can't find anyone who they feel fits the position, and they feel like I would be good for the position. Would I be interested? So we had kind of spoken about that. And I had no intention of coming back, but I think God always just had that pull back to camp and to East Tennessee. So I think it was the summer of 2023 I came back. Initially was just supposed to work for the summer, and I worked
Mm-hmm.
for the summer. And at the end of the summer, Whitney had said, like, they want to make it a full-time position. Would I be interested? And I came back November of 2023, and I've been here since then working as the Faith and Community Engagement Coordinator with Camp in the Community. So it's been fun. I mean, I've helped out at Camp Lookout with things as well. Kind of helped out at the different camps. I've got to see a lot of what the Halston camping does and the impacts it has. I mean, I think that's why I've just kept coming back and just continued doing it for all these years, because I know it changes lives because it did mine. So yeah.
Yeah. That's such a great history and such a great story. And you're right. Like all of the Holston Conference camps, my brother just called me and said, "Hey, do you want to go to family camp at Camp Dickinson?" And I was
Hmm.
like, "Absolutely." So
Yeah.
there's just so much to offer. And I love that you said you just kept feeling that pull to come back.
Hmm.
And so this brings us into what is camp like. So if you could tell a day in the life of camp
Hmm.
in the community,
Yeah.
what would you say that day's like?
Yeah, so I mean, there'll be a lot of laughter, a lot
Mhm.
of singing, lots of different activities and games, high energy from the campus and the staff. But like the typical day would be campus arriving, having a breakfast snack, and then after that going into morning watch. Just a time of songs, time of worship, a good word by the minister in residence, and then
Yeah.
from there, going straight into activities, doing activities all morning up until lunchtime. Have lunch into Bible study after that. And after
Mhm.
that, more activities until a snack time in the afternoon, singing songs, and then they head home. So it's an action-packed day. It's a full day. It's a day camp, but there's so much they get to do in the day. And all
Right.
through the week, they get to do so many different activities. Things that may
Mhm.
be done before, like your camp favorites, like archery and gaga ball and wind
Yes.
fuzzies and all of those things. But then also, we're always trying to do new activities as well and bring new things in. So we try and bring in a lot of STEM activities, where they
Yeah.
can kind of experiment and learn and try out new things. But we also try and incorporate things that maybe is not from the US, so with different games that they can learn about and try. Also, because we hire so many international staff, sometimes they have something they can bring as well. So we try and have a variety of activities so that they try new things, they doing new things, they just finding out that maybe they do enjoy things they never knew they would before. So it's just lots of different activities, lots of fun and laughter, lots of singing, and yeah,
Yeah.
just a good day.
I almost forgot until you said Gaga Ball. My
Mm-hmm.
my elementary school that I work at just got a Gaga Ball pit, and
Okay.
I walked onto the playground and I was like, "Yes!" And they were like, "Miss Arnold, do you know Gaga Ball?" And I said, "Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to come to camp because we play it there all the time." So
Yeah.
that's so exciting, and it's something that all the kids always look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, if you had to describe the heart of camp, the purpose
Mm-hmm.
of camp, um, what is its heart? What's its purpose?
Yeah. So I think we'd have to go back to 2011 when we started. We started out as a outreach program at Camp Wesley Woods, and Whitney had kind of understood that there's so many kids who just will never get the opportunity to experience a residential camp. She
Mhm.
had worked for Wesley Woods, I think, for 13 years in all different roles, CIT, support staff, resource staff, counselor, leadership, all of it. And she had taken one summer off. And she worked in inner city, Greensboro, I think it was. And
Mm-hmm.
she had built such relationships with the kids in that community. But in that time, she realized like these kids will never ever get the opportunity to go to camp just
Yeah.
because of lack of resources and all these different things. And kind of that's where the heart started. Like, how do we take camp to these communities and to these kids who need it? So
Amazing.
that's how
Yeah.
it started. That was the heart behind camp. Just being able to reach those who would not be able to get to camp, get to experience summer camp, get to experience the transformation that can happen there, and just get to experience the fun and laughter and love that you feel at camp. So that was the heart behind why it was started. And for me, like whenever someone asks me, even when I interview potential staff and stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
for me, because of my experience with camp, like the short version I always give them is that it's just a place where we get to share the love of God. And
Amazing.
that looks different in for many different people. A game of
Yeah.
Gaga ball. Like kids can just have so much fun and just feel so loved just playing a game that can be
Mhm.
so chaotic and so crazy, but they get it. They feel like they belong there. They're having fun with people who they feel like is there with them and for them and loves them and knows them. So it can like camp has this camp is a space where you can just feel loved, share love, and
Mhm.
just share God in simple ways. So for me, that's what it's all about, just sharing the love of God.
That's amazing, and we always look like the kids, they still talk about it like all year long, and
Mhm.
it doesn't even stop when camp's over. That's also
Yeah.
something that I love about it because I noticed you guys send out postcards like on their
Mhm.
birthdays.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget my son going to the mailbox and he said he came running back in and he said, "Mom, Roger from Camp in the Community sent me
Mhm.
a card." And like it just lights up their summer and just
Yeah.
continues throughout the year. So um do you have a favorite thing about camp?
A favorite thing about camp. I think so because I've never been a camp and always been on the staff side, I think the relationships that you get to build,
Mhm.
but that includes with campers. Like, I mean, I have lifelong friendships because of the people I worked with at camp. But there's also campers who you see every year that you just get to connect with again, see how their year was, see how they're doing, see the excitement for camp. So I think it's that relationships that you get to build, because camp is a it's a unique space. It's a very different space where kids can come and just be kids. They can come and
Absolutely.
just have fun. They don't need to
Right.
think about things going on at home or at school, or like they can come and just be.
Mhm.
So they can let their guard down. And I mean, one of the things as a counselor as well as a staff person, you get to do that as well. You get to just come and not think about everything that's happening outside, but just focus on what's happening at camp. Just being
Yes.
present, just being goofy, just singing songs, just having fun, just getting that inner child out. And through that, you get to make those connections and get to build relationships with the people. So I think for me, like that's probably one of my favorite parts about camp, just the relationships you get to build.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. So the next question is, drum roll, what is the theme for camp this year?
The theme for camp is I am.
I
So
am.
I am. So it's based on the I am statements of Jesus.
Mhm.
And yeah, we're excited about that. We've started working on the Bible study already. We've almost done with it actually. So yeah,
Mhm.
we're excited about it. Just getting deeper into this I am statements of what Jesus says and what that means for us. So yeah.
Right.
So I
But
am.
we always love hearing the theme. Like we watch to see what it's going to be. And like last year
Mhm.
when we heard it was Esther, and we were like, "This is so good!" Like even
Yeah.
the people at our church who were volunteers, we wanted to be in morning watch. We wanted to
Yeah.
see the devotions because we were like, "Gosh, this is feeding us too." You
Mm.
know, so it's always fun to see what that's going to be.
Yeah.
So, if there are any churches out there that are also listening to this, and including our church,
Mhm.
what's important for churches that are hosting camp? What's important for them to know if they were wanting to host camp in the
Yeah.
community?
I think firstly, like, know that you are capable, because I think
Mhm.
sometimes the churches think that it's this huge thing that they have to do and they don't have the resources, they don't have the people, they don't have the, like, all of that. Like, we come alongside you. We work with you. We partner with you. We use what you have. We bring what we have, and we partner together to make it happen. So it's it's a lot more doable than some churches may think. So
Right.
firstly, like, don't let any restrictions hold you
Mhm.
back from trying it out, from stepping into it. The next thing is that, like, it's an outreach. I mean,
Mhm.
like, it's getting to reach out to the community, getting to connect with them, getting to bring them into our space, and just getting to share Jesus with them. That's what it
Mhm.
is. Like, we want to make these connections. Like, we know how important church is, but we
Mhm.
also know how important building the kingdom is. So getting to build these relationships with our communities, with the people who we know need the Lord, need the love of God, need everything that He has that He can give them. So it's just an opportunity to build that connections, build the kingdom, and just continue to do the work of the Lord, whatever that may look like. Because we always, what we've seen over the years with Camp in the Community, is that sometimes from camp and through the relationships built, different ministries can start, different programs can start, just based
Yeah.
on needs that arise or what we see happening or what the community may bring up. So yeah, just realizing that it's an opportunity to reach out. So
Right.
that's another thing. And yeah, I mean, the other thing I would say is that we've been doing this for a while. We've kind of learned a lot, we've grown a lot, and we bring all of our expertise, all of our training, all of our knowledge, and we can make any space work. For us, whatever you have, we will come and we will work with what you have and give you the best experience that we can. Yeah.
It's so true. I mean, just thinking about the partnership that you all have had with Wheeler. I
Mhm.
mean, I know before we ever started it, the only things we had really known about camp is, well, we also had someone, Meredith Hawk, one of our
Mhm. Yeah.
longtime members, was a camp in the community counselor. Absolutely loved it. Came back,
Mhm.
shared about it with us. And then I was in it just when it was a rotation outreach program through Camp Wesley Woods.
Okay, yes, it
And
would.
so I just knew a little bit from my 1 week out there.
Mhm.
And before when we signed on and we were like, wow, what's this going to be like? And I'll never forget. We were like, okay, we're anticipating this. You guys pull up on that Sunday night,
Mhm.
open the trailer, and then it's like we meet everybody. It's like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, they're so efficient. Like they
Mhm.
have this down to an art. And it was just amazing to see. And you're right, you guys make anything work. Like
Mhm.
it's really awesome to work with you guys. And I know that there are churches that partner together. So that's an
Mhm.
option too.
Yeah.
You don't just have to do it alone.
Mhm.
Um, and it takes, and you all are also really good about fundraising.
Mhm.
So if you don't care to share the really cool way that you all started fundraising this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So we started, I mean, obviously, we've always needed to look at different ways that we bring in funds, and a lot of that has been through grants and things.
Mhm.
But this year we were more intentional about doing fundraising from our side. So we started doing a trivia and single night,
That
which is
is awesome.
basically, yeah, it's a fun night and it's for all ages where we come together and we'll have rounds of trivia, just general knowledge questions on different categories and different topics. Get to test their skill in what they know, what they think they know. And then we also would do rounds of single, which is kind of like bingo, similar setup. It's just songs playing. So it's using music. So a song would play, and if you
Yeah.
recognize the song and you have it on your sheet, you mark it off just like bingo. So it's a lot of singing to songs, and I mean, everyone, all ages will be a song would play, and everyone singing, having fun. So it's been really cool to see that going and just get the excitement from the churches and communities with that. And then another thing we're doing for the first time this year is a pickleball tournament. Um,
Oh, that is awesome.
so we're excited about that. We know there's a lot of hype about pickleball, and
Yeah,
we've done it at camp before as an activity as well. So, I mean, we thought, why not take what we've done before, take what is fun and people
yeah.
enjoy it, and it's for all ages, and just use it as an opportunity to connect, to grow, but also just to raise funds for camp. So we'll be doing our first pickleball tournament this year as well.
That is so cool. That's you guys are so creative. Like that, it's almost like a little taste of camp for everybody.
I mean, that's what we want. We want everyone just to get an experience,
Yeah.
in whatever way they can.
So, do you have the best story that you've ever thought of camp? Maybe something that touched your heart, maybe a funny story, or just something that you would want to share with everybody.
Yeah, I think like there's so many things that come to mind.
Mhm.
Touching stories, funny stories, just things with campus, things with staff, so many different things. But I think one of the things which happened in more recent years, which still like to this day, like I think about it, I'm like, wow, like you could see God in it, was
Yeah,
I think it's probably about 3 summers ago now. We were at a church. I won't mention names and mention
yeah.
campus names or anything, but we were at the church, and they had been doing camp, and they had a desire to continue to connect with the community and grow, and they really had a strong desire to build like a youth group at the church, because at the time they didn't really have much kids that were coming. But through camp, I mean, as you know, like a lot of kids come to camp, so it's an opportunity to build those connections. And this church
Right.
was really good at this. They had a pastor and youth directors, and who were just very intentional about making relationships, building relationships with the kids that came during the week of camp. And I remember there was the oldest group. It was about 13 campers in the group,
Mhm.
and it was 12, I think it was 12 boys, and it's teenage boys, so they're between the ages of 12 to 14.
Mhm.
So it was a lot of energy. It was a lot for our counselor for that week. She did a great job with the group, but it was just a lot we had to deal with. But I remember one day I was there. I went up for one of the days and I kind of stepped in for her, and helped lead archery with that group, and just sat down with them during Bible study. And we were going through the Bible study and talking about it. And we got to a point where I just asked them, like, are there any questions you guys have? Like, just anything about God or faith? And they just started asking so many questions. And I tried to ask the best I could to the best of my ability. And we just had such a good discussion and such a good time, just talking about the Word of God, talking about life, just all of these things. And I was there the next day as well and kind of connected with them. And then the week ended, we went about our thing, the summer continued to go. And then a few weeks later, we heard from the church that those group of boys all came back on a Sunday. and started coming to the church and started getting connected. And a few weeks later, some of the boys asked to get baptized, and they got baptized. And I mean, they just continued to come. And from there, a youth group built, and they had a nice core of teenagers that came every week on a Sunday in the week to youth, to the point where they had a nice group and were able to take a group to resurrection for the first time in years. And
Awesome.
I mean, just seeing those campers be campers
Mhm.
with all the energy and excitement and overexcitement at times, to then become junior counselors, to become a part of the church community, um,
Yes.
and to still see them when we go and do. We've gone to help out with their dinner church. We've gone to do fundraising there, and they still there. They still part of it. They still not just part of camp, but part of the church, part of the community. So just to see that happen and to see that continue to grow and build over the years, I think that's always the excitement, because like it shows us not just the impact of camp, because we know we only come in for the week and we leave, but just what making those connections and building those relationships can do and can mean for these kids. Like, I mean, we all need community. We all need to feel loved and seen. And when they feel that and they know it's real, like they know they belong there and they want to be there. So I think that's
Uh,
always stood out for me, just to see that happen and to see that continue to happen. Yeah.
yeah, totally points back to the heart of camp. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, truly. So, how can we, as a Wheeler community,
Yeah.
best support you all?
Mm-hmm. I think probably the first thing that comes to mind is pray. Um,
Mhm.
just continuing to pray for us, for just continued guidance as we move forward, as we grow. Praying in advance for our staff, because we have probably about 80% to 90% of our staff hired for the summer already, coming from all over the world. I think this summer we have probably about 10 different countries represented. We have a few new countries which we've never had before, which we're excited about. So yeah, so that's going to be fun. So just continuing to pray for our staff and just for the preparations for camp. But then also just sharing the word about camp, like who we are, what we do, encouraging other churches and people to get involved and to come on board. Yeah, and then also I think letting us know how we can help you, because that's one of our big goals going forward, is that like Whitney's goal and heart behind doing camp was never for us just to be a camp. Like it was
Right.
always to be more than that. Because we
Mhm.
know we come in for the week and the campers have fun. They do all these fun activities. They do a Bible study. They do all of these things. But then we gone. But that's never been the intention. Like we want to continue those relationships with all our churches through the year. And that was part of why I came on, to kind of help put things in place and continue building those things. So we're always open to stepping in and helping at dinner churches or Easter
Yeah.
egg hunts or trunk or treats or just whatever it is churches want to do. We want to come alongside and partner with you. Because that's what we want to do. We want to help build bridges between the churches and the communities, but also be a partner in ministry, in whatever form that may look like. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you so much
Mhm.
for being here. And I want to go ahead and put out there that Camp in the Community at Wheeler UMC is this summer, July
Mhm.
6th through 10th. And there's going to be a link at the bottom of the podcast for people to sign up. And we're excited to see you.
Yeah,
So,
we're so excited. We can't wait to be back there. We love being at Wheeler, so we're
oh,
excited.
well, we're glad to have you guys. And thank you, Keenan, for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Shara.
We'll see you later.
See
Bye.
you. Bye.
If you would like to make a financial donation towards Wheeler's Camp in the Community this summer, follow the QR code or the link in the information on today's podcast, and it will take you to our online giving platform. Once there, choose the option Camp in the Community. Thank you so much for supporting a week for children to attend camp and to learn more about Jesus and grow in their faith.
Beyond Sunday. Beyond Sunday. Beyond Sunday.